Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm stopping to do a bit of unboxing, something that I haven't done for a while and enjoy doing, and I know there's quite a few of you that enjoy the Unboxing Boxes series. But yeah, just taking a break from benchmarking. There's a heap going on at the moment. Next month in particular is going to be crazy, and I'm sure many of you know why. But on the schedule for just this week alone, so we did the Ark Survival GPU benchmark video yesterday. So I hope I satisfied those guys who have been asking for that constantly. Then possibly after this video, I've got to squeeze in a review of Creative Sound Blaster Katana. So that's a really cool soundbar, very pricey, but still very, very good quality. Then I think, so the day after, so what does that bring us up to? Wednesday, doesn't it? That would be, yeah, so Wednesday I have planned. Pretty cool video actually. I'm going to be comparing the G4560 once again. I know I've done a heap of G4560 content, but this is another one that you guys have been asking for, comparing it to the G3258, so the unlocked anniversary edition dual core processor. So that will be a bit of a Pentium brawl. But yeah, I'll be comparing the G3258, I think, overclocked to, it's at least 4.6 gigahertz. I can't remember what I actually got it to. I did the benchmarking last week. It's all a bit of a blur because I've done a lot since then. But anyway, I'll be testing, yeah, the G3258 overclocked to whatever I could get it to, and comparing it to obviously the G4560 not overclocked, and see how the dual core goes against the 4-threaded processor in a couple of games. But yeah, very interesting results, and it will be very useful for those of you that have a, well, you can't actually upgrade from the G3258 to the G4560, but yeah, if you were thinking of getting a new motherboard and doing all that, interesting nonetheless. Then I have got a review planned, and hopefully the product is actually in one of these boxes. It's a graphics card that Palit sent me. It's very cool, and I think it might be this one, but anyway. So yeah, then the big one that I'm working on, I've been working on this one for about 2 weeks now, is, I did, if you recall, I titled it, "Is the GTX 980 Ti Still Worth Buying?" And that video was hugely popular. You guys really liked that, so I'm doing a follow-up. And the first part, it'll be a 2-part series again, but the first part will be, is the GTX 970 worth buying? And that'll be tested stock and overclocked. And then I'll be following that up with some R9 390 testing to see how those two compare in. It's a lot of games released last year, and I've also added For Honor and Resident Evil 7 to the mix as well. So those two games actually provide some interesting results. So I think all up, there's 20 games that I've tested for the GTX 970, both out of the box and overclocked. And yeah, again, I'll be doing the same with the R9 390. And then next week, yeah, can't really talk about next week right now, but it's going to be good. So anyway, not getting distracted with what's coming up anymore. Let's get on with what we have here. I will start with the biggest, well, actually the biggest box. I've got a case box down here, but we'll start with this one. We'll clear all this stuff out of the way, and then we'll check out the case that I've got. Alright, so we have some foam on top. We have a lot more foam, making the usual mess that I make when we do this. Oh, cool. This has been sitting at my front door for about 2.5 weeks now. Probably should have opened it a bit sooner. For those of you who don't know, this is Asrock Z270 SuperCarrier motherboard. I believe it's their first ever motherboard that they've branded as a SuperCarrier. Take a look. It's got sort of got that MSI titanium look to it. But yeah, this is a very cool motherboard, very expensive motherboard. I'll get it out and show you guys. So I believe this is priced currently on sale in the US for about 380 US, and it's about 570 Aussie. So it's definitely one of the more high-end Z270 boards out there. So yeah, $380 US, that makes it a bit more expensive than, I think it's the MSI Z270 X-Power Gaming Titanium and the Asus ROG Maximus 9 Formula, if I remember correctly. I think there's also a Gigabyte Z270 Gaming 8 board. I think I put the Gaming 7 in this thing. But anyway, yeah, so it's got a bit of competition, but As far as I know, this is the only high-end Z270 board to offer the 5 gigabit Ethernet, which is pretty cool. So that's just that red port there, if you can see that. So not 1 gigabit, 5 gigabit, so 5 times faster, providing you have all the other hardware to take advantage of it. But hopefully that starts to come out this year. Other cool features are you get dual Intel LAN as well, so the 2 ports that aren't red. You get, what do you get? You get 802.11 AC Wi-Fi. You get support for 4 times SLI, as if that's still a thing, but yeah, there's support there. Thunderbolt 3, and it looks like there's Type-C USB as well, obviously. Purity Sound 4, which we've seen and tested already, and that's the real deal. Looks like we got 8 SATA ports. And interestingly, there's a 6-pin PCIe power input here, presumably to send more power, at least 75 watts to something. I'm not 100% sure what that is yet. But yeah, I'll try to review this board, no promises. Like I said, there's a lot going on at the moment. Alright, let's go for the next biggest box. Paper this time. These are some critical components that I'm waiting on for a build that I've been planning on doing for a while. So, more G4560 content. Again, a lot of you guys were requesting that I do a full build with the G4560. And the idea of that build would more to be to focus on, obviously, the CPU, the motherboard, memory, and the graphics card. Because that'd be the sort of core components you'd need to extract the performance that I'd be showing. So I think I'd be going with a H110 board, purely because they're really cheap, good value. So rather than a B250, they're a fair bit more expensive, I think. But anyway, it'll probably be an Asrock H110 board. Then powering that system, I will be using this Cooler Master Lite 500 watt power supply because it is cheap. So to my knowledge, I don't believe this particular model is selling in the US. Although the unit supports active power correction, its working range is only 200 to 240 volts. So that means this model won't actually work in the US or anywhere else that doesn't use between 200 and 240 volts. Here in Australia, this model is selling for $65, which for an 80 plus certified power supply, that's actually really good value. And I mean, it's not going to be an amazingly high quality power supply because it is $65. It's kind of interesting way of protecting it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, smell those chemicals. So, it's only 140 millimeters long, so very compact. It'll fit in those small mini ITX cases that are designed to take standard ATX power supplies. 120 millimeter fan in on the top, 500 watt output, and it looks like it is a single 38 amp rail. So that's definitely going to be enough to power any sort of mid-range to low-end gear without any problems. And as you've guessed, it's a non-modular power supply, which is hardly surprising given the price tag. And you do have the rainbow-coloured sleeves, as the guys often call them, or rainbow-coloured cables, rather. The power cable's sleeved, and so is the 6-pin, or actually that's the 8-pin CPU connector. The 6-pin PCI Express connector is not sleeved, but you know, like I said, it's a $65 Aussie power supply, and that's about as cheap as 80 plus certified units get down under. So yeah, anyway, this will be powering my G4560 build, which hopefully I'll be getting done. I don't know, I might have to try and squeeze that on the weekend. We'll see how we go. I've got all the bits, I think. Well, we'll see. But yeah, so power supply, check. Now, I know you guys are going to be a little confused by this because the G4560 is a locked processor, it can't be overclocked, and it runs very cool with the Intel box cooler, so there is absolutely no need to spend $1 on the cooler, and I would recommend you don't. Except Cooler Master had this on offer, and I thought, yep, I'm going to grab that because I'll be able to use it for something else down the track. And it's their Hyper 212 LED Turbo cooler, and I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the 212 series from Cooler Master. They're really good budget coolers. But this one I wanted to grab because it's pretty amazing value. It is $50 Aussie, but again, that's pretty cheap for, you know, a good quality cooler. You get a pair of LED 120mm fans, and it has a cool little visual feature. I'll grab it out of the box and just show you guys. It's probably easier since I've got it right here. Yeah, it is very nice for a budget cooler, I've got to say. Or a $50 cooler anyway. Oh. So yeah, the only downside of this cooler is it comes in red or black, but it's technically red is a common theme here because the LED fans only come in red, and while they do look very cool, they're red. So you want to have red as part of your build to really be able to use this cooler. You can, I thought it came with a black cover as well, but it doesn't look like it does. So as I understand it, it can be purchased with either a red or black cover on top. I thought they'd be interchangeable, but obviously not. I thought interchangeable covers at this price point would be pretty amazing. But yeah, this one comes with the red anodized cover on top, which, you know, that looks pretty cool for a $50 cooler. And it'll look even better with the red LED fans. But yeah, it's not all just show. You can see it's quite a thick heat sink there. It's, you know, it's obviously 120 millimeters tall. And you have 4 direct contact copper heat pipes. So that will make for some decent cooling, I would say. Decent cooling performance. And the other great thing about this cooler is that it can be universally mounted, or it has universal support. That is to say, you can stick it on an AMD or an Intel platform system, and it will work just fine. So it has pretty much all the latest mainstream, even the LGA 2011 socket it will work with. It works with AM3, AM3 Plus obviously, and it works with AM4. So upcoming AM4, which we hopefully will see shortly. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So maybe some budget AM4 builds this thing will find its way into. So anyway, there's a brief look at the Cooler Master 212 LED Turbo. Yeah, that's right, LED Turbo. Alright, I feel like I'm getting through this a bit more, or a bit quicker than I normally do, but it's probably still going to be a 20-minute episode, which some of you guys like, some of you guys don't. This I was meant to get a long time ago under embargo, but didn't happen, so I don't really know if I'm going to review it now. So sorry about that one, Corsair, but Corsair have sent me their Scimitar Pro RGB, what is it? It's for, I think it's for MOBA gaming. Oh, yep, mobile MMO gaming. So, neither of which I'm really that into, but yeah, new Corsair mouse. I'll take it and have a look at it. You guys will have already seen reviews on it, I'd say. It came out quite a few weeks ago now. Actually, it was probably, I think it was early January this thing was released. So I'm getting it very late. Looks and feels very nice. But yeah, it's a mouse, medium-sized mouse with many buttons. And I believe this can be moved around and do all kinds of fancy things, but I haven't actually watched any of the reviews on it. But yeah, I don't expect that I'll end up reviewing this. I would have if we had got it for the first round of reviews, but yeah, the cat's kind of out of the bag on that one. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Alright, now, I'm hoping this is a graphics card. Indeed it is. Now before you sigh, because this is a GTX 1050 Ti, and I know that the RX 470 is better value, but the cool thing about this GTX 1050 Ti is that it's fanless. Absolutely no fan at all. I will be going and testing this right away as soon as I've finished editing this video and uploading it. But yeah, it'll be probably, hopefully I can get this done within 2 days. Let's have a look. That is pretty cool. So there it is, KalmX GTX 1050 Ti. It's still a very tiny graphics card. It is a dual slot design, but most of the 1050 Ti's are. But you can see they've gone with a small PCB. The heatsink obviously extends the height of the card and the length by a bit, but yeah, it's still very compact. It looks like it would be under 200mm long. It's got 2 heat pipes that extend out from presumably the base up into the heatsink itself. And yeah, I have no idea what temperatures this runs at. They didn't make any claims. I also don't know the price. It's not on sale yet. But yeah, very cool indeed. So if you're building like a really quiet, say, home theater PC designed for 1080p gaming or whatever, and you don't want, yeah, it's really annoying having a computer making sounds in your living room or behind your TV or wherever you have the PC. So I believe that they're the kind of situations that this will be designed for. And in the past, I have built a completely silent gaming home theater PC, and it was so cool because, you know, even though the new graphics cards like the where is it? Don't know if I have it. I have the Gigabyte G1 gaming model of the 1050 Ti. That's really quiet as well, but every now and then you do just hear the fan. For gamers with their headphones on and stuff, clearly not an issue, but I think for home theater PC usage, silent computing is the way to go. But anyway, I won't go on too much about this because I do plan to have a review. Yeah, I think I said it was probably Thursday. But anyway, we'll work that out later. Depends how the review goes, if there's any hiccups or whatever. Sometimes they take a bit longer than expected. Alright, the last item is the cooler... Well, this is a bit awkward. I was meant to have been sent the Master Box 3 Lite, which is a $50 US or $52 Aussie case. And I've just realised it looks like they've sent the Master Box 5, which I've actually used a little while ago in a 1440p build, if you guys recall, using a GTX 1070 and a few other bits and pieces. I think it was a Core i5 6600K. Anyway, not important now. But yeah, so I'm going to have to contact Cooler Master and try and get the right case ASAP. So that's a bit annoying because I was hoping to get that build done this weekend. Yeah, I'm not going to bother opening this up because I think I've already unboxed a Cooler Master Master Box 5 before, a few episodes ago. It was a white model. I don't know what version we have here, but it doesn't really matter because... Oh, it's the black model. I won't be using it anyway because it's not the Master Box 3 Lite. Well, that's a bit disappointing. I had planned to tell you a little bit about the Master Box Lite 3, but we'll skip that and we'll pretty much wrap this up. So that concludes this episode of Unboxing Boxes. Not quite sure what number episode we're up to, but I'll work that out. As you guys have probably noticed, I'm not doing this as a weekly feature because I was sort of getting to the point where I only had like 2 or 3 products at the most to unbox, and they weren't always terribly interesting, whereas I think we've got, you know, sort of different products here, which made it a bit more interesting than the norm, I hope. And yeah, stay tuned because later in the week we will have that Pentium brawl where I'll be testing the G4560 against the G3258 overclocked, followed by what should be a really cool video looking at how the GTX 970 performs in all the latest games, or 20 of the more recently released games. Yeah, so with that, I'm your host Steve, and I'll catch you guys again soon.